Signs behind me say road closed, but not for long. We're in the finishing touches of a major road project in Louisville, Kentucky. And we're talking about bridges, approaches, even a new tunnel as the entire area comes together in the name of progress. What can be described as one of the largest and most expensive road projects in the U.S. is nearing completion around Louisville, Kentucky. Walsh Construction of Chicago heads the design-build team for the Downtown Crossing project.
It is one of the largest, if not the largest, single contractor projects that have been let in the United States.
Right.
And it really was a big boost to us. We also picked up the East End project, but it really was a boost to the number of people, bringing us all together to be able to demonstrate to other owners that we have the capability and the ability to step up and come through and complete a project on time. We're hoping even ahead of schedule, and good quality, good safety, and everything else tied to that.
Can you give me any statistics on concrete use and rebar and that sort of good stuff that contractors like to talk about?
Just the bridge behind us has over 50,000 yards of concrete.
Whoa.
Just in the towers themselves.
All right.
The rest of the project, it consists of a Kentucky portion, which is what's called Spaghetti Junction.
Right.
And that was literally 50% of the work.
That had to be mitigated in itself just to get this done.
Right, absolutely. And so we had to do a lot of work there to be able to get access onto the new bridge. And on that particular portion of the work, think in terms, like I said, it's about 50% by dollar and also work. There were 41 bridges, of which we're done with 38 of them, and we had enough steel H-pile that we have put into the ground that could stretch from here to Cincinnati, which is basically 90 miles away, and we'd still have pile left over. From the beginning of work till the completion, which will be in December of this year, we're going to spend about a little over $800,000 a day average for 46 straight months. That's how much work is being performed on a daily and weekly basis.
Steve, how many people have you had working on this project, let's say for day one, and what's been your greatest amount?
From the worker perspective, 802 was our maximum, and that was in the middle of last summer, probably July range.
It's not just the idea of a massive new bridge over the Ohio River that is striking, but the elimination of Louisville's so-called Spaghetti Junction of 3 interstate highways converging at the city's downtown has resulted in a complete reconfiguration. Meanwhile, the remaining Kennedy Bridge structure is undergoing a complete rehab into a widened 4-lane throughway. Kentucky's Transportation Department Construction Manager, Rob Harris.
For Kentucky, this was the largest design-build project and one of the first, really, that we've ever done. We've had some limited experience with design-build, but this is our first really big foray into that contracting method. We brought on a GEC, General Engineering Consultant, in 1998 and to start the process, but this job has been in the planning stages for decades before that even.
Well, I know the bridge first went through the committee in 2006, and it's 10 years of that, and we're just now nearing completion of everything here.
Yes.
What does it look like from a standpoint of dollars spent? Is the state of Kentucky, your operation, well pleased with what the outcome has been and what you've achieved?
Well, I think for the $860 million, we've got a wonderful piece of infrastructure for both southern Indiana and Kentucky.
Any major problems that you guys encountered as this project proceeded?
Not any major problems, but from a management perspective for us, this is several years worth of program, KYTC program, dumped into 3 years. So it was just the intensity of building 40 bridges on the Kentucky side, 20 on the Indiana, and a river bridge, all in 3 years. It's just the intensity.
Kind of mind-boggling when you think about it.
It's very mind-boggling.
Is this the biggest project you've ever worked on personally?
Absolutely, yes.
And what's your takeaway from it?
Well, my takeaway is I arranged the latter part of my career to work on this project because as an engineer and as growing up, born and raised in Louisville, you had to be a part of it. Just had to be.
Kentucky and Indiana officials took the reins some 10 years ago and decided that a significant improvement of their transportation system would also require completion of an interstate quality loop around Louisville. That decision resulted in yet another major bridge 8 miles downstream of the city, along with a 1,700-foot tunnel in order to make the project a total success. It's known as the East End Crossing, as Project Director and CEO Robert Morphonios explains.
Downtown's a traditional design-build project. Here at the East End, we're design, build, operate, maintain, and finance the project. So we have all the facets, and even after we get done building the project, we maintain it for 35 years, and it's an availability-based P3.
And this is just one of how many bridges you've had to build for this?
Well, on this project, we've got 22 bridges that we've had to build.
And this is just tying in 265 on the Kentucky side, and we're on the Indiana side.
Yeah, it's actually Kentucky 841, and it's 265 here on the Indiana side. And when it all comes together, it is the 265 loop around southern Indiana and Louisville.
East End consists not only of this massive bridge across the Ohio River, but 22 additional approach bridges and a tunnel slightly longer than a quarter of a mile.
This is a 2,500-foot long bridge. It's designed for 6 lanes. It has a 1,200-foot main span, and we'll open to 4 lanes and keep some wide shoulders, and then when capacity is needed, we'll open it up to 6 lanes.
Stripe it.
Yeah.
When all is said and done, residents and visitors alike will be able to experience a tremendous improvement in their transportation mobility and community pride. As Indiana DOT project manager Ron Hustis explains, it's been a long time in the making.
The history of this project goes back to 1969. This has been contemplated for a very long time. And of course, it was always, well, it'll never happen. But finally in 2011, the 2 states came together, and 2 governors in particular, to make this project a reality. And now we're about ready within 6 months of seeing traffic on this, something that's been out there for 50 years.
So when you talk numbers, the Indiana Finance Authority did a study, and that study tells us over the next 30 years, this project, the Ohio River Bridges project, is going to support 15,000 new jobs, 15,000, and also $87 billion in economic development. So it really is a game changer.
When the new cable-stayed bridge over the Ohio River was completed recently, thousands turned out to experience the occasion and enjoy a new sense of community pride. It's similar to what engineers and workers on the project itself will take away once finished. 15, 20 years from now, you're driving down this road with your grandkids in the car. What are you going to tell them?
I was part of this.
I'm going to be able to say to my grandkids, you know, your grandfather played a big part in seeing that this project came to fruition.
Great piece for construction in America, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's wonderful.
Well, looking down the road a few years from now, you got your grandkids in the car. What are you going to say when you cross this bridge?
Yeah, we'll run them by the project and say, hey, this is one that, Grandpa was a part of, and I'm certainly proud to be a part of this project and all the people that made it happen.
Well, there you have it, folks. Another edition of On the Road from 4constructionpros.com. We hope you enjoyed our visit to the Louisville, Kentucky area to give you an idea of just what's going on and where all this money is going. It's going to be a massive deal and a wonderful, wonderful finish once it's all completed. Thanks for being with us.